The subject at the outset, I must say, is not simple. It's a very complex one. But at the same time, we can't stop and say the subject is complex and we have a black and white view. Mr. Krishnamani mentioned about our age-old belief, or rather in the epics, about the implantation of Rama in Rohini Bhumi. There's one more which comes to mind, perhaps even more ancient, is the birth of Dronacharya. Drona means pot. So he is born of a pot. So he is the first instance, at least mythologically, or as legends would have it, of someone who was a test tube baby. Well, you can go onto the internet. I just showed Mr. Chatika Kalra about the blog which I read, showed her. So, I think, shown now all these techniques, what we are looking at is a timeless problem. The timeless problem is childlessness. Childlessness has various problems. One is, if you say surrogacy is unnatural, then not being with a child is not, I won't call it unnatural, but it is something which leads to a void. And in some societies it is considered to be a spiritual vacuum. I will not take it further except highlighting that point. But it is a very real, physical in some cases, and certainly emotional and psychological issue. How does society address childlessness? Mr. Krishnamani rightly pointed out adoption. And adoption is one mode which is known across the world, except in perhaps Islamic society where adoption is not known but fosterage. But the Roman Empire, adoption was one of the very favorite modes of rearing children, even making alliances. You adopted a friend's son, even at an advanced stage, he became your son. And we have more or less the same rules as in the ancient Rome. An adoptive child becomes part of your family and cuts his cord, cuts his relationship with his biological family. That is the law today. Now, society never remains unchanged. There is no staticity. So with advancement in technological advancement, medical advancement, you have ARTs. Whether you like it or not, ARTs are there. Because these are assisted reproductive techniques. They could be IVF, as it is called, or any other technique. The complication about surrogacy is that there, in any one given transaction, if I can use that commercial term, there could be 5 possible people. You have a set of commissioning parents who have no relationship, possibly who have no relationship with the child, but they don't have the means to have a child. So they commission to others to create a child, and then you will have a surrogate mother who will host that child. Now, Mr. Krishnamani's point is well taken, that a surrogate mother will naturally develop some emotional bonding with the child. That's in the order of nature. And there is some literature to show that this emotional bonding they are counseled not to have. Well, that is unnatural. And how it starts telling on the child's health or mental psychology. Again, that's not my concern. I think the more immediate concern is what should be the regulation. I think it's a very complex field, as I said, and all of us will have to engage ourselves if we think that there are certain pluses and minuses. I have had a very close association with one aspect of it, that is administration of juvenile laws in India. And Mr. Krishnamani mentioned about orphanages and childcare institutions. There is a real problem. You have lots of poor children, and it is a big challenge for the administration to see that these childcare institutions are kept in order. It is very difficult and challenging to have education for these children. Therefore, adoption is seen as a viable option. When you come to IVF, now how to regulate? There seem to be two lines, that there should be no commercial surrogacy, and that there could be possibly regulated surrogacy. The first line is that there should be no commercial surrogacy, but there should be altruistic surrogacy. If you explore further, what is altruistic surrogacy? That someone is willing to bear someone else's child for, as was put, just for the love of it. I'll take the devil's advocate side. Why should someone take that risk unless he or she is related? So you presuppose that then the catchment is narrowed down to only relatives. Now relatives could mean there could be genetic issues, number one. Number two, what about the health of the child? If it is only genetic, if you are narrowing down it to family and not for others, and you are saying others can do it but without consideration, isn't that exploitation? Now, if take the thought further, the way ahead according to me is not to completely ban it. There could be a lot of judgmental issues in this, that women are exploited. Yes. What is important is informed consent. What is important is minimum age. You say that to be a mother, you should not be less than 23 or 24 years or whatever. It should not be at the age of 18, because the child, she is still a child and she is not developed. And you should have a maximum limit. You cannot be a surrogate mother more than twice. And on each instance, there should be complete social security. For instance, there should be 100% insurance of the mother during the pregnancy and thereafter. And why should the mother not? Why should she be paid only for 3 years? She should be given a very handsome lump sum compensation. If we are to admit that, if you make a judgment call not to have commercial surrogacy, not at all. That's a different issue. Likewise, when it comes to the child, there could be several issues. Somewhere down the way, Manjiamada was the case, and I know about it rather closely because my wife was the advocate. I mean, my wife's mom was the advocate on record. And very interestingly, when the grandmother came to India to take the child, she didn't have a place. She was waiting for the order of the Supreme Court. Then the child and the grandmother met in my house. So I think my wife even had that photograph for quite some time. The point is, when relationships go sour between the commissioning parents or the other set of parents who are supposed to be responsible, what should happen? Who takes responsibility? What about the welfare of the child if the child is to go abroad? Is the host state going to recognize the citizenship of this child? These are issues which should be discussed threadbare. I am afraid that it's too late in the day. Whatever we may say, for 10 years or 11 years, the first clinic opened somewhere in Anand, Dr. Patel. And even this latest judgment of the Supreme Court is from the same Dr. Patel's clinic, from where last year or 2 years ago, I think some 608 IVF births took place. So it's too late in the day to say it should be shut down. If you like it or not, way out according to rules to regulate it, and possibly have some very stringent safeguards. For instance, in South Africa, it's not possible for two commissioning parents to just commission a child. There should be a genetic responsibility, genetic footprint from the commissioning parent, which means that there should be a genetic connection between the child that is born and the parent or parents, at least one of them, who wants that child ultimately. Without that genetic link, then things could go wrong. So I think that some important safeguards like this have to be brought. And what is most important is this kind of dialogue should keep happening. And not just here. Whatever you collate here must ultimately go, and you should make a demand. You should demand for a select committee inquiry, no less. And in those select committee inquiries, maybe you should open a website. Maybe you should have a blog where people express their opinions, and you collate it, and some of you go and actually depose in the select committee. I'm sure there will be a diversity of opinions. I wait to see what Dr. Kohli is going to say. I think she has a completely different point of view and equally perhaps forceful and vehement, that we should not have it at all because there are strong moral underpinnings. But we have to accommodate and also assimilate both points of view and see what is the best way out. Thank you. Just to end this with one humorous note, Mr. Krishnamani made a comment about me, many comments, some of them were very flattering. He's a good friend, he's a very dear friend, so he's biased. Well, I'm not a perfection, I'm not perfection at all. I'm defective. I have a defect in my right eye, I cannot see. I have been suffering from epilepsy for 40 years, so I know what it means to be born as children of as the child of a lesser God. But I have had a wonderful set of parents and I'm blessed by it. Bless God. I mean, I thank God.
Sorry, I want to say one word. See, we are talking about the surrogacy and so many other things. They are sounding very chauvinistic. Now, suppose a wife is competent to bear a child, but husband is not competent. He is impotent. Now, in such a case, what are we going to do? The surrogacy is from man's point of view. Because a woman is giving the body to bear the child for him. But what about a wife who is competent to bear a child? But because husband is not able to have proper sperm count or whatever it is, he is not able to produce. Why? We have to think in the context of this, that aspect also, how we are going to solve that problem. Okay. As far as Justice what is concerned, he said that I am biased. I am not biased actually. I always express my views very boldly. Perhaps I am the only lawyer in the country who questioned the Chief Justice of India when he was about to hear a matter where I thought that he should not hear the matter because he was pending before some other bench. He withdrew back and then he wanted to hear it. And there were rumors that he has taken money in that matter. Therefore, I did not keep quiet. I went to the court. I questioned him. I told him you can't hear this matter. So I am such a person. I will not bother. I am praising Justice Ravindra Bhatt because he is praiseworthy. He is very good actually, extremely nice. He has no defective eye at all. He is just saying like that. That shows his humility only. It adds to his good qualities, actually his humility. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your own president.
Thank you, Justice Ravindra Bhatt and Mr. Krishnamani, who added to Mr. Bhatt's dialogue. The concluding note which Justice Bhatt shared with us, I think we all have to learn from it and we must have that much of courage and to be humble and share it with others. And the dialogue, the last dialogue, I think this kind of dialogue should go on. Basic purpose of this workshop is that we must discuss, we must share, we must all learn by it, and if possible to disseminate this information and knowledge which we get at other forums. Now I request Mrs. Veena Kohli ji, she is President of India Women's Conference, to express her views on surrogacy.
premier women's voluntary organization involved in the field of women's education and empowerment in the last 85 years. It was registered in July 1930. From its inception, AIWC has been deeply concerned about the economic, social, and legal needs of women and has played a major role in the enactment and modification of laws. The organization has always adopted a participatory approach in the implementation of its programs, focusing on women's education, health, both physical and mental, and capacity building through its network of 520 branches throughout the country. The topic today is aptly titled The Nest in Food. Giving birth to a child and the act of procreation is divinity itself. It is a result of two people who connect their relationship of love and thus have a child. Surrogacy is an artificial means of creating a child. No doubt, surrogacy is a technical marvel, but the All India Women's Conference strongly feels that this is exploitation of a woman's body and must be stopped immediately. Allowing surrogacy is to make use of women's bodies and reproductive organs for the enjoyment of someone else to the detriment of the woman herself. And I will explain the reasons why we feel this. To begin with, I would like to express that women must have the right to their bodily integrity. This right may be considered as a fundamental human right superseding a notional right of parents to have children. Children always have the right to have parents, but there is no human right for parents to have children. Surrogacy undermines the human dignity of the woman since her body and its reproductive functions are used as a commodity. We consider that the practice of gestational surrogacy, which involves reproductive exploitation and use of the human body for financial or other gains, particularly in the case of poor and vulnerable women in our country, should be prohibited and treated as a matter of violation of human rights. Children are not a commodity in a market, and women's rights cannot be negotiable by privileged buyers who want to rent her home. Childless parents may benefit from having a baby, but the human right issue is the only way to deal with this issue. The rights of women and children, and not the buyer, must be the focus of this issue. I would like to give you the picture of the Anand Clinic in Gujarat, wherein Dr. Patel is having a roaring business, and she says the business is taken off beyond anything she imagined. The world's first baby factory is being built in India to house hundreds of poor women to be used as surrogate mothers to have children for rich families. In Anand Clinic, nearly 50 babies have been born and more during the last 1 year. Another 150 couples are still waiting. In the West, a surrogate mother charges 5,000 to 7,000, whereas in India it can be done at half the price. It is sheer exploitation of a poor woman who earns rupees 200 a day in her regular job. Published on 1st 1/10/2013 by Daily Mail, it built by Dr. Patel